So, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that we have a very, very strong case with the BBC worst week for US stocks since COVID crash. Is that when we have the BBC telling everybody in the world that we have a stock crash, the worst crash than back in COVID. This is telling people panic sell, let the big boys buy. This is it. The market is gonna crash. Usually the headlines, they come after the fact, right? So because the market already crashed, now we have the headlines. It's not like they're warning you about the crash is gonna come. So it's like the crash happened and now we're gonna tell you the crash happened so that you can panic sell and that we can buy and then we can pump it and then tell you again the market is good now. So basically what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, is an opportunity in our hands where we have a massive crash. It appears to be with a crypto fear and greed still in the fear, extreme fear. This has not changed. While Bitcoin is at $82,000, holding strong. Now, altcoins are still holding strong, funny enough, which tells me that pretty much the sell-offs around crypto are done, which means we've been selling off way before this time. Like, there is a case where we can say that we were already on this downtrend and the stock market wasn't. So the stock market was pretty much in an uptrend. So we've kind of front run this crash. But most importantly is that we ran out of sellers and the market always bottoms on fear and on bad news. So look at this now. Now here, this bottom here, this is Germany selling Bitcoin. This back in the days felt like that's it. The hurricane is about to hit and it's over. That's how it felt back in the days here. Now again here, this is the Bitcoin ETFs approved, sell the news, it's over, BlackRock is gonna dump on us. Then we had a rally bottom, that the market bottom there. But here is something very important that's also shown in this tweet, and this is very big as well, is this right around here. So around September, we had the Bitcoin spot ETF delayed. The SEC told BlackRock, look, we don't want to do the spot ETF now. It's over. It felt over as well back in the days here. It felt like it's never gonna happen. And today we have this. This is crazy to say to people all over the world, and especially in the US, that the stock market, the worst week for the stock market since COVID. If this is not a news that bottoms the chart and that bottoms crypto and bottom everything, I don't know what will. This is pretty much the worst case scenario. The reason why it doesn't feel that bad is because Bitcoin did not drop and cryptos did not drop. And that's why it feels weird. It feels like something is going on here. It feels like we cannot trust this news. Why is this news telling us the stock market is crashing, but Bitcoin is not crashing? And it's simple because now Bitcoin is a global asset. Now Bitcoin is not a US based thing. It's not a stock market. It's not a stock. It's not an index based on the US. It's a global thing. It's like gold, right? It's not really affected by the stock market that is in the USA. So the S&P 500 is a US stock market. So you can guess that it's going to be affected by the Trump thing. Trump says tariffs, the US stock market is going to go down. Now, even though some other stock went down, like the Mexico stock and China stock and other countries stock, but they did go down by like 1% or 2%. The US one though, that's a 17% overall since the tariff talk started. And just in the last 2 days, this is a 8% drop. This is catastrophic here. An 8% in the stock markets is like a coin going 90% down. What's going to happen next from here, especially when it comes to crypto? Is this the bottom? Now, as I shown you, the bottom always happens when we have bad news. It happens whenever there is a bad news, it bottoms the charts. Here we had Bitcoin spot ETF delayed, Germany selling Bitcoin spot ETF approved but sell the news, and now we have worst crash since COVID. You cannot make this up. And Bitcoin is still above that 76K. Did not drop below it. And I want to show you something important and why it reminds me of this time here. This is when Bitcoin got rejected from this 30K level, 35K. Why is this important? It's because you can see this has been a support and a resistance. Right, this has been a very strong level, and when Bitcoin got rejected the first time from that 30K level, it's kind of raised the alarm, and then the second time is where it got everybody bearish, 31K. And I do remember when everybody wanted to short this level here. So remember this level here, this is what everybody wanted to short. This was 28k, and the reason is because there was so much fear being accumulated around this range here that everybody just wanted to short any pump so that we can get out. And I remember was at the same time I was pretty much concerned as well, and I was thinking maybe I should short the 28k, and everybody was pretty much concerned and trying to short this 28k level because of the same factors, like we had the Bitcoin ETFs delayed, and people could not believe that actually the spot Bitcoin ETFs would be approved, and because we got rejected from 32k or 30k level, which also has been a very strong support in the bull market and a very strong resistance in the bear market. Everything lined up perfectly for this to get everybody bearish and try to short. In fact, we seen a rejection right after Bitcoin came up to the 28k level, then got rejected, then we seen the breakout. And I want to show you how this is so similar to today, where you can see this downtrend here. So look at this here, and let's go back up here. Let's go back up. We have pretty much the same thing, and I have it as a fractal here. So when you see this, this is pretty much something we could expect, where people exactly like today, like back in the days, where we see now Bitcoin rejected from 110k, that's it, it's over, we're never going back up. Now marked the 76k level, like here 24k. So I am thinking, what if people are trying to do the same thing now? It's very similar. Imagine if now people thinking, what if Bitcoin goes back to 88k or even 90k? Pretty much a lot of people are going to think that now. Because I'm telling you this because this is how traders think. They think like, I'm going to short that liquidity grab, or where people put their stop losses and everything. And pretty much I'm thinking people would try to short 88k and 94k. And we might just repeat exactly what happened here. As to what can cause a rally again on Bitcoin and cryptos, what if actually this is also the bottom on the S&P? Because we see the S&P does those retraces very often, and then it rallies and has those crazy V-shaped recoveries when it happened. And this is, by the way, the COVID crash, and this was a V-shaped recovery. We could pretty much see the same thing happen. And what can cause this to actually happen? The stock market crashing is actually something that can cause the Feds to start cutting rates. It's also deflationary when things starts to crash. This makes the dollar stronger and drops the inflation, which also this is what the Fed wants, to start cutting rates. But overall, the charts are telling us all we need to know is that the S&P usually recovers in a V-shaped recovery when that happens. And since Bitcoin is just holding strong here, just doing its thing, not moving, not following the market, now imagine if actually the stock recovers, what Bitcoin is gonna do and what ETH is gonna do. Now ETH as well is still in this, what I am calling a fake out below 2000. If there was ever gonna be a bear trap, especially on Ethereum and altcoins, with this fear, if you ever wanted the perfect bear trap to get everybody to sell and buy cheap, if you were, let's say you were sidelined, right, because you thought there was gonna be a recession in 2023, and you're a VC and you have a lot of money, let's say you were sidelined and you've seen cryptos pumping, you've seen Bitcoin pumping, you missed this, and you got all that cash sitting on the side, and you wanted people to sell low, and you wanted to buy as much as possible at these low prices. What would you do? What would be the best bear trap? Well, it would be this. It would be ETH below 2000 and fear at 24 and even longer. And to help you even more, we're gonna have the BBC telling everyone worst week for US stocks since COVID crash, and we're gonna get everybody fearful and selling their bags to people or to large cash or money that was sidelined since 2022, basically, because what happened is in 2022, 2023, people were just right after FTX. Nobody could have believed that Bitcoin would ever recover and cryptos would ever recover. And a lot of people stayed on the sideline, especially that a lot of people believe that 2023 is going to be a recession year and did not buy. So most of the people actually, large money and big money is still on the sideline. If they wanted a fake out or a bear trap, this would be it. This would be pretty much the best bear trap I've ever seen. If there was ever the most believable bear trap ever, I would say is this one. This is the one that's convinced everyone that that's it, it's over. While Bitcoin is at $83,000. Now, you cannot make this up. We're going to have to see how Monday is going to unfold. I am betting on the side that this crash here is going to cause the Feds to come up. It's going to cause Trump to come up. It's going to be a very interesting week. But what I'm looking at more is usually the stock market or the S&P 500 does not just crash like that. If it crashes like this, usually it sees a mean reversion. And it's happened over and over. And this means Bitcoin is going to see another recovery. And when Bitcoin is going to see a recovery, this is going to cause everybody to try to short the pumps. And since they're going to try to short the pumps, it's just going to fuel the pumps. That is what I'm looking at as a most likely scenario. Now, still, even with this fractal I have here, this actually shows us that we're still going to range for a while. So I'm not saying we're going to have pumps tomorrow or next week, but what I'm saying, this is still pretty much in line with us being the bottom, and that Bitcoin is going to range for a while here, and slowly we're going to start to see the prices recover. But pretty much this is it. Pretty much this is the bottom. I don't see how this is not in the future gonna be seen in hindsight as the bottom, especially when you look at this headline, worst week since the COVID crash and the fear mongering and all that. And fear is pretty much here, and Bitcoin fear and green index and the crypto fear and green index is at its lowest point ever. I don't know how in 6 months from now we're not going to see this and think, oh my God, this was the best time to buy. I don't know how we're not going to think that with this headline. This headline is shocking, by the way. And I think I made the point with that. Like you can see since the COVID time here, when the stock market crashed, it felt like the worst case scenario happened. This is the world is going to end. That's how it felt actually. The world is going to end and it's over. We're never going to see any prices recovery ever. And then we had a mean reversion here. Prices went crazy up. And the reason why is because of money printing, right? They did cut rates. That's why it happened. And this is actually, guys, believe it or not, this is it. This is it. I found it. You see this global liquidity. When this did happen, when did the global liquidity start to pick up? It's right after the COVID crash. And you know why? The Fed started printing money to save the economy because the stock market was going down. Same like today. And kid you not, look what's happening here. We have this global liquidity thing. You see this downtrend. Well, it looks like we just broke above it. Let me put a clear trend. You see this downtrend here. Well, it just looks like we broke above it, right? We broke, retested, and we're going up. And right after the stock market is crashing, I don't know, this actually looks like it. This looks like it, and this looks like we're gonna see this. And when I say when we say that Bitcoin is gonna do this and rally and start to recover and go to new all-time highs, this means also ETH is gonna recover, and this also means our favorite altcoins are gonna recover. And we're gonna have a recovery across the board. This is pretty much what this is telling us. Now, anyways, today's video, guys, I wanted to just share with you this. Stay strong. I'm still holding. I'm still waiting for what this is gonna do. But we have some very clear signs today that we're seeing that telling us Bitcoin is bottom, cryptos are bottom, and that we are gonna see recovery. So we're gonna have to wait for Monday and what Monday is gonna do and what the stock market is gonna do. But my gut feeling is telling me we're gonna see a mean reversion. They're not gonna let this just crash, and the global liquidity is pretty much in line, telling us, look, the global liquidity is actually breaking out and telling us we pretty much kind of see finally the stimulation happen here. And this is big, guys. This is actually very big to see the global liquidity breaking out like that and starting to go up, just like in the COVID crash. It started going up and things started to fly. And this is also when Bitcoin went on to this massive 2021 rally. So keep that in mind. Stay strong, hold strong. We're still headed toward a bull market, a massive altcoin season. If you're holding, just keep holding. That's what I'm doing. If you're still sidelined, this is pretty much it. This is the best time to be buying. And thank you so much for watching today's video till the end, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.